Hi guys, welcome back to African Lady and a Baby. It's me again, Stephanie Oki, your chocolate colored mother. On this channel, I discuss motherhood, of course, and my experience with motherhood as it relates to me being an African woman living in the diaspora. Now, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're back again to watch me, thank you. Welcome back. You're awesome. You're like the best. You're the reason I'm still doing this. Today, I want to talk about being a working mother versus being a stay-at-home mother, as it's an ongoing debate between mothers. It really shouldn't be, but we're always trying to decide on who is doing the most work. And I just want to talk about my own experience. Now, if you don't already know, please head back to one of my previous videos and find out that I have been a stay-at-home mom for X amounts of months. And you can also find out from my previous videos that I did go back to work when my baby was just 2 months old, but then I had to quit at some point. But if you want to know that detail, you can go to one of my previous videos or head on to my podcast and listen to my podcast. Right, so I'll start with talking about being a working mother. When I was a working mom, what did I enjoy about it? I think I just enjoyed that level of self-worth it gave me, being able to make some money, feeling like your life has purpose, you're doing something, you're going to work every day, you're getting tasks done, you're achieving things daily. That really felt good. Other than that, it's not really the best. Let me tell you why I don't think it's the best. I mean, maybe there's all sorts of other reasons why some women would rather be working moms, but I'll tell you some of the reasons why I don't quite like it. One is if you're exclusively breastfeeding, you literally will have to pump daily if you don't want your milk supply to dwindle, and that is really hard. It is hard. Especially since I had to pump 3 times a day. It's one of the most difficult things. It's just so hard, so daunting. I mean, I did it and I did it successfully, but I'm not gonna lie, it is very daunting. You have to take bottles with you to work. You have to take a breast pump with you to work. You have to take a cleaning brush, like to actually wash your bottles. You probably would even have to take your own soap because, I mean, depending on how extra you are, if you don't want to use just any soap to wash your baby's bottles, or you have special soap for babies that's not like, that doesn't have chemicals or whatever, that can be, all the load you have to take with you when you're going to work is just out of this world. You literally will just look like you're traveling every day. And it's stressful. I don't know. It's just so stressful. Another thing I didn't really like was the early start to my day. I mean, now I'm a morning person. I actually do enjoy the mornings, but I had to wake up extra early, like an hour earlier than my normal time to prepare. And you could say, yeah, you could prepare the night before, you could do all these things the night before, but you can't actually pump milk the night before now, can you? You can. I had to pump before leaving the house every morning. I actually had to, pump before leaving the house or pump just as I got to work. I used to try to balance it, but even if I didn't pump before leaving the house, I would have to breastfeed before leaving the house because, the night feeds, baby that's just 2 months old, it was just so hard. So I literally had to wake up at either 4 or 5 a.m. So 4 a.m. on a day when I really had a lot to do, or 5 a.m. on a day when I could just be flexible. Another thing that I didn't really like was that the hours with my baby were really short. So you'd wake up very early in the morning, you'd go to work, you'd spend X amount of hours at work, you would leave work at say 5 p.m., head home, your transportation, your transport time from work to home, probably an hour. For me, it was an hour. and I'd get home at about 6 p.m. and I literally had, and I had to put my baby to sleep at like 8 p.m., 9 at the very latest. So I literally had just 2 hours with my baby every day. And with the type of job I even had, sometimes I did like overtime work. And so I even worked weekends. And so having to spend such little hours with my baby was just not nice. Not nice at all. Another thing I didn't really like was just, I can't say I didn't like this actually. No. So another thing, for me, I had my mom with me. And so it was nice. It was okay to, I didn't feel so bad leaving my mom. But I can only imagine if I had to leave my mom if I had to leave my baby in a daycare, it would have just been really painful. Or I probably wouldn't have even I wouldn't have had the flexibility I kind of had to, go to work and leave work at a certain time or whatever time I wanted. So it really would have been very difficult to balance things. And so that's why I kind of think if you don't have your mom or someone you trust around you, it can be really difficult to leave a baby in a daycare daily and only spend just 2 or 3 hours with your baby. That's just not nice. You also don't really have enough time for yourself. You don't have time for chores. As with really being a mother in every way, like both stay-at-home moms and working moms don't have time for themselves. And, it's just hard. You go to work, you wake up, you go to work, you work for somebody, you come back home, you literally work for your baby. You don't even have time for house chores. And that's just not, it's not fun. It's not fun. Now, one good thing about being a working mother is when you drop your child in daycare, there's a positive side to it. Your child actually gets to spend time with other children. And so, your child is socializing, and those social skills are very necessary in the growth phase. And so that's one plus with being a working mom. Now, let me go into being a stay-at-home mom, which is what I'm doing right now, and which is actually the one I kind of love and prefer. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I'm lazy. No, it's because it's much more fulfilling. I'll tell you why. When you're a stay-at-home mom, you get to look after your child yourself. You raise your own child. You don't leave your child in the hands of others. Other people are not dictating what your child, who's in his molding phase, will turn out to be. You are the one dictating that. And, for me, that's fulfillment. There's nothing like it, because that's a human being I'm molding right now. And it really depends on me and only me right now to do that. I don't want a situation where, even if it's a relative, I leave my child with somebody who's related to me, a friend, a family member, and that family member is instilling his or her own values on my child. But I have my values, I have my beliefs, and I know what I want my child to grow up to be like, and I would rather be the one in charge of that. As a stay-at-home mom, you also get to sleep better. Yes, and that's something that I find very valuable now. If you're a mother, you will understand that sleep is like gold. Sleep is like gold. You can't even dispute it. It's one of the things that when you sleep, new mothers are so sleep deprived. So the minute I started getting enough sleep, I can't sleep. I can't trade my sleep right now for anything at all, like anything. And so getting more sleep is definitely a plus when you're a stay-at-home mom. You can do chores as well. You actually can look after your house. You can take care of your house. You can clean your house. You can do things. And you can even take care of yourself. You can go to the gym. can you go to the gym? No, you can't go to the gym because you have your baby with you all the time. So yeah, that you can't, you know, well, but you can take walks, which is what I do. You can take walks, you can go running with your baby in his pram, what's it called? Stroller. You can definitely get some form of exercise. So that is one good thing about being a stay-at-home mother, is the amount of time you actually do have to do things for your home is like tremendous. Now, being a stay-at-home mom does come with its own downsides. And I will start with saying, first and foremost, you really do not have time for yourself. So even when I say you do have time, you don't quite have the time for like yourself. Like for me to even look this good right now is simply because I was able to carry my baby and go and give him to his father, who's working from home at the moment. That's the only way I've been able, like, that's the only way I'm able to sit down here and do this. I cannot, I can't actually do this successfully with my baby around me. I mean, I can to an extent, but he literally puts me on like a time, like if he was here with me, I would be in a hurry. I would be in a hurry to get this done and just, go. But because he's with his dad right now, I can actually, talk. So yeah, you don't really have time. You don't have time for yourself per se. And the only other thing that I don't quite like with being a actually no, there's two other things I don't like. The first one is you do start to feel some form of resentment. You would feel like you don't have self-worth, and that's because you feel like you're not making money, and we know that the world revolves around money these days. So it's just so painful sometimes. And then the fact that, you probably will watch your husband wake up in the morning, get ready, go to work, look good, do things, get things done. And then he comes home and you're just there. Like all you do is just look after the house and look after the baby. And it just really can be so annoying. And, I think that's just one thing. So you can start to feel some form of resentment. And for me now, being my own, being an African lady in this place where I don't know anybody, seems like in this particular neighborhood, people are only ready to like be nice on Facebook because we have a Facebook group, but nobody has actually been friendly enough to make friends with me in person. And the only one time I actually said, you know what, I'm just going to step out of my skin and just go and talk to this lady just because I saw her with a pram. And I thought, you know what, she's a mother too. Let me just make a new friend. Hey, the lie I got was something else. She was the one that even made me join the group. Like I literally went to this woman saying, you know what, do you want to be friends? I'm also a new mom. Like, I'm in isolation here. Like, can we be friends? And she literally just said, if you're looking for friends, go on. We have a Facebook group. Go and look for friends. She literally did that. Like, I don't know, people are just not that friendly here. And if any of you find this and I'm talking to you guys, you people are not that friendly here. But when I lived in Denver, I had friends. There were much friendlier people there and it was much nicer. But here it's just different. So yeah, you can feel isolated if you're a new mom. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, and that really can be very painful mentally, it can be very painful. Another thing too is you would feel like your child isn't socializing. And so it can make you feel and wonder if, you're doing something wrong. Like, is your child going to be friendly? Is your child going to be confident? Or is your child going to be shy? Because sometimes I worry about that. Like, I'm like, I hope I'm not going to have a very shy child who is very shy to speak in school. But I have seen mothers who have stayed at home with their children and the children are not shy. They're actually quite well behaved. They're doing very well. One of them is quite close to me. She's a relative and she stayed at home. She looks after her child because as a mother, once you're really genuinely dedicated to your child, you will raise a good child. And it doesn't have anything to do with being in daycare or being at home. Children tend to flourish the most when they have good mothers who are very dedicated to them. And so I think and so my message to anyone watching this today is to not be too hard on yourself. Whether you're a working mother or a stay-at-home mother, you're working really hard, and you're probably going to have a child that will do really well and will be proud of his or her mommy. On that note, guys, I think I've said all I want to say today. Thank you so much for watching me. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you've watched me to this point, thank you so much. You are the best. You have no idea. You're the best. Don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.